So this first video here, first one's gonna be pretty basic, super rough. Just gonna do like a breakdown of what I've got, some of my supplies. I don't have everything, some of what the kit is, just some of the supplies I got and that I'm gonna use. Just basically a quick little breakdown of what I'm working with and what we're gonna do here. So first things first, I got this kit from guitarkitworld.com. This is my fourth kit to buy, and so far seems to be best quality, I think, but I also did pay the highest price for it, so you know. What came in the kit, I got their PRS inspired kit. So what you'll see here is the PRS style body, pre-cut for 2 humbuckers. I do have the ones that it came with here, but they're kind of just generic basic ceramic magnet pickups, and I'm most likely going to replace them with something else. Haven't decided on that yet. I may give them a shot. Sometimes you score and they sound really good. So anyway, it's a PRS style body. The back and well, the entire body itself actually is mahogany, except for a veneer of beautiful quilted maple. As you can see, all those nice little ripples and everything. It's gonna look super cool whenever I get finished with it. The neck has these pretty cool little inlays, kind of birdie style, which is akin to the PRS inspiration again. Neck is mahogany as well. It might have been maple. I'll have to double check on that. 3x3 tuning peg holes, dual action truss rod. It's already pretty straight. I think when I got it out the first time, I did tighten the neck a little bit just to make sure it was straight. Fretwork's not bad. There's a little bit of spots that need some work. I mean, normal leveling and crowning and stuff will happen, but there's like one spot, I don't know if you can really make it out on the camera, but right around here, there's a piece of a fret that's kind of popping out. It's not set properly. I'll have to kind of knock that in, but that's no big deal. Came with, here's the cover for the cavity, the electronics cavity. Just a basic plastic cover. I was thinking about trying my hand at building something out of wood, just for fun, just to see if I could do it. Replace that with a wooden one. I've seen what a lot of people do, the makers, is they'll widen this edge out here, make room for magnets, and then basically attach on the back of their thing, they'll put magnets on it. That way you don't have to have screws in there on your cavity, and it just kind of looks a little cleaner. But I thought it might be neat to try to make one out of wood, because, you know, I want to start working with wood more. Comes with a cable, cool. The tuning machines are your basic, you know, generic tuners. I think probably they're the same ones that come in pretty much every kit I've gotten so far. They're actually pretty good quality. I've used them on the other 3 builds without any issue. They stay in tune, and I mean, they do their job, so can't complain too much. However, I am probably going to replace these with a set of locking tuners, because as this is going to be my highest quality build so far, I am probably going to up a lot of my materials. So example, replacing the pickups, replacing the tuning machines. I'm going to set the phone down here for a second and grab out my bag of electronics. So, basic little set of wire. I'm going to replace that with braided nylon shield, or not nylon, corded braided shielded wiring, better quality, better insulation, and just easier to work with. Pretty basic 3-way switch. Seems okay. There's the capacitor in there. And 2 pretty basic potentiometers there. Again, those are another thing that are in, you know, they're probably fine, but I'm going to end up replacing them with probably like some oranges or some CTSs or something. I'm not sure yet. Here are our pegs for the bridge. There's the cover for my input jack. Actually, the input jack itself, the whole thing's there. There is the basic set of strings they give you to do the setup, as well as the handle, what do you call them, the strap buttons here. Those I'm again probably will replace with locking strap buttons. Just another one of the little upgrades I want to do. Basic little plastic knobs. I mean, they look okay. Maybe I'll use them, I don't know. Truss rod cover plate, screws for various things, the back plate, the jack, pickup guards, pickups, and then there's for my tuning machines. So yeah, so that's the kit. Essentially it does have every single thing you would need to make the guitar, but again, tuning pegs, humbucker, pickups, potentiometers. I might keep the switch. I don't know about these knobs. Oh, and I almost forgot the bridge. The bridge in this one is actually not too bad. It's not the basic tune-o-matic bridge that I've seen in other kits. It's actually got nice individually adjustable saddles here. It looks to be pretty well made. Feels good, solid. And then of course, Allen key for the truss rod. So next, as soon as I pick the phone back up, hold on. Next up, I'm just going to kind of go over some of the materials that I already have, as well as kind of some of the ideas I've got, and some information on other materials that I'll be getting. So my idea as far as the finish on this goes, because that's really the big thing, is, you know, the putting it together part's not really that hard, especially with everything kind of pre-drilled, pre-cut. It's more about the finish than anything. So what I'm probably going to do, or what I've already decided I'm going to do, is I'm going to use a brown dye, which actually I've got here already. It's actually a leather dye, but it works insanely good for staining guitars. I've used it previously for this purpose, and I have also seen a lot of videos of people using this technique that I'm going to use. So essentially this brown leather dye is going to go on first as an initial coat over this beautifully quilted maple. And the goal is to have that go in, dry up, and actually fill in and highlight all of this nice grain. And it really just kind of brings that grain up and makes it pop. So what'll happen is I'll go over it with my stain or my leather dye, let that dry, and then what I'll do is I'll sand back very lightly to get rid of the surface dye, the dye that has stayed on the surface. And what'll happen is it'll leave the dye in that has soaked in and is deeper in that wood grain. And what'll happen when I add the actual stain color that I'm going for, it's gonna make it just pop really, really good. What I'm planning on doing is actually like a honey amber-ish colored finish. And essentially, I think it's gonna go really nicely with that brown, contrasting it. So the brown to really make the grain pop, and then the yellow honey amberish color should just really make that brown pop and make that grain super defined. As far as the back of the guitar as well as the neck, my plan is to just finish those with a combination of linseed oil. I have here some wood boiled linseed oil, and also Tru-Oil, which is actually a gun stock finishing oil, but I have seen extensively used for finishing the wood on guitars. Never used either one of these before. All my finishes in the past have been some kind of paint or stain. I've never done just a wood finish, an oil finish on just the wood. But from what I've seen, I don't think it's going to be too hard, and it should give me a really nice end result with just a really good natural wood color. And I think that'll go nicely with my my honey and amber finish on the body here. So some of the stuff I already have, like I said, I've got my my brown dye. I'm actually waiting on the amber dye. I had to special order that because I got a special dye that's actually formulated specifically for guitar bodies and working with guitar finishing. So waiting for that. It's supposed to be here in the next couple days. But while I'm waiting, I am most likely going to go ahead and do the process of getting this brown dye in place, and with that I'll be able to have my coat dry out nicely and get time to sand it and make sure that all goes well. So just a couple other basic things. I've got gloves, protective nitrile gloves for using all my stuff because I don't want to get my hands nasty. This one here is naphtha. It's essentially it's basically lighter fluid, more or less. But what it's used for is it's used for like either stripping paint or thinning paint and stuff like that. But what I actually use it for is after sanding different areas, it will clean the surface really well. So I use it as basically like it's going to help get rid of like oils from my hands and the debris from sanding. And what it does is it, because it's alcohol, it will flash off really quickly, dry really quickly, and it just kind of does a very good job of cleaning the surfaces that I'll be working with to prep them for everything. Standard rubbing alcohol, kind of the same deal. I actually used it before I learned about this naphtha, so I actually kind of use it more than anything. X-Acto knife for cutting things. This is essentially my makeshift makeshift fret leveling beam. Essentially just found the straightest, flattest piece of metal that I could for this purpose. And there's not any tape on it right now, but what'll happen is I will put some tape on here and then get some sandpaper, tape it together here. I use this method where I put tape, then a little bit of super glue, and then there'll be tape on the bottom of the sandpaper, and then so basically I super glue the tape together. That just makes it easy to remove and use again and again without having to worry about the super glue. But what essentially this will be for those of you who don't know, is I'll end up putting sandpaper on it and running over my frets to make sure that they are all level with one another. It's a pretty common technique that most guitar builders use. Ruler, just in case I need to do any measurements of anything. Do things like double checking the scale of the neck and everything. It has a pretty flat edge, so I can use it as like a fret rocker and like a bit of a straight edge, but it's not manufactured to be perfectly straight, so I kind of use it as a guideline more than anything. Microfiber towels, just for whatever cleaning. I'll probably use them to clean the guitar, wipe it down. It'll probably get used for, I may even use one for applying some of the dyes and stains, just because, microfiber seems to work really well. And then here I have a bunch of different varieties of sandpaper. I think the lowest I have is maybe 400 grit. And then I have all the way up to either 12 or 1500, I believe. Oh no, actually I've got some all the way up to 2000 there, which is great. And essentially what'll end up happening for the body, once I get my, my finish the way I want it to look, and I begin my clear coating of the front, which I don't have my clear coat that I'm going to use. I have that ordered as well, but I'm going to use a special 2K lacquer, 2-part lacquer, catalyzed, with a high gloss finish, and essentially coat it, sand it, coat it, sand it, coat it, sand it, and gradually move up finer and finer in the sandpapers until I'm probably at about a 2000 on that. and that will allow me to polish it to a nice mirror finish. That's the goal. For the neck and the back of the body, what I'm going to use it for is actually to apply my oil finishes, because it helps it to penetrate and helps it to smooth. And from what I've read and researched on, is it really helps get a nice, even, good coat, helps it penetrate, and will ultimately make for a better finish to apply it with really, really fine grit sandpaper. So that pretty much covers the basics of what I have and what my ideas are. I am considering ordering, especially since I'm doing this for the 4th time now, I actually am considering ordering a few specialty tools that I don't currently have, just things that make the process a little easier once the finish is done. Once I go to assemble it, aside from like the electronics upgrades and upgrading the tuning machines, I may also order an actual sanding block or sanding beam, just because they actually do sell them and make them, and you know, it would just be, I mean, it's made for that purpose, so it may be better. I'm also thinking of ordering a radius sanding block, which is curved on the bottom to match the curvature of the neck, and also helps smoothing out those frets and getting the right shape. What else? Probably an actual fret rocker. Like I said, I do use this little ruler as my fret rocker right now. But the thing about the fret rockers is usually they only go across about 3 frets at a time. And so you would place here, set it, check, level as you go. And it actually just kind of works a little better being able to check a few at a time instead of trying to go all the way across, and just a little more precise. So I may look into that as well. Other than that, I think that about covers it. I'm sure I've missed something because this is my first time to do anything like this video-wise, and I also just did it on the fly. I didn't prepare anything, obviously not reading from a script. I just thought, you know what, hey, I'm gonna record this. So I may have missed something. If I left out any details, I'll try to go back and fill those in future videos, just to kind of keep everybody up to date and, you know, current on what my actual information is, current on what my processes are, if I'm ordering things, if I'm waiting on them, if I've made any changes, you know, stuff like that. So that about does it for this video. Here's a quick little snappy snapshot of my bench as I have it, and honestly, it's indoors in my house right now. I just moved. I haven't set up any kind of workshop area. So this is going to be my little makeshift workshop for now. And hey, look, there's the Jackson Dinky pink guitar that I bought, that I am eventually going to do something with. Don't know what. Anyway, that's it for this one. If you have any questions, feel free to holler at me. I will post links to some of the stuff that I'm using. If anybody's interested, I'll post like the dyes I got, the products as far as the oils finishing goes, the guitar kit itself, and then probably some ideas of the replacement pieces I'm looking on getting. I may link those once I decide. So yeah, that's all. Stay tuned, and I hope you guys are looking forward to this, because I sure am.